Hey, that was a nice one.
I know, yeah. I got some suction on that one.
Nah, it's been crazy, no? We're back now after, how long has it been? For you, it's been short. For us, it's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 months.
It's been a few months now.
We haven't filmed in a few months, so forgive us for the...
Sorry we're late.
Yeah, we're realigning our... what do you call this stuff? I forget what it's called.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Inner energies. You know what the secular people say? The chakras.
Oh, okay.
Chakras.
I was going to say chakalaka now, but I wasn't sure.
Chakalaka. Yeah, I'm hungry. Anyway, welcome back to the Opinion 2.0. It's been a while. Season 4, maybe, bro. Season 4.
Yo.
Interesting times.
Yeah, it's been now. We're on. This is what? Our second year that we're busy with?
We're going into year 2 now.
This is year 2 now, yeah.
Year 2.
It's been 2 years of doing this.
Yo, and we're still here.
I'm
still
yeah, that's
here.
exactly what I was thinking.
We're still here. Why aren't you subscribing?
There's something you wanted to speak about actually, because there has
Yeah.
been some progress with the podcast itself,
Yes.
even though we weren't shooting.
So
there's been some. There we go.
We can
Some
start off with
announcements. There we go.
announcements before we introduce our amazing guest. Firstly, there is a thing called the South African Podcasting Guild. There is just over 200 podcasts. So if you have a podcast in South Africa and you want to be a part of this guild, there will be a link in the description below and on your screen now. You will see it's www.sapg.co.za/podlist. On that list, you will be able, number one, register your podcast. And then number 2, you'll be able to see all the other podcasts/vodcasts on this page. It's quite interesting. You can do some collaborations with people, connect with people.
Yeah, you can learn a lot
You can
as well.
learn from other people as well. And,
Because everybody who has any issues with or face any challenges with their podcast reaches out and they're like, how do we do that?
Yes.
And there's people there that can help.
there's a community as well, a WhatsApp community, which is quite interactive. People ask questions. So if you have any ideas or you have any suggestions or you want to get some suggestions or guidance on how to do things, this is the place to be. This season is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be content creators. It's not going to be people talking about the Matrix. All those things. We actually...
Yeah, you just got that.
Thanks. Yeah, I just... what's that movie called?
Grandma's Boy. For those, if you know, you know.
If you don't know, if you're like me or Gen Z, you
Go
won't
watch
know.
it. Go
No,
and watch it. It's worth the watch.
Oh yeah, I'll watch that. That's vibes. We're going to be taking this season differently. We're going to be doing for the first half of the season acts of dawah, giving you some insight about our religion, Islam, financial planning, other questions you had about Islam. So if you have any questions you want to ask about Islam for the non-Muslims, you can reach out to us. We'll ask all the people coming up. We've got a series of people coming up that are skilled
Learned.
and learned in Sharia compliance, Islam itself. They can answer your questions. We've got some imams coming on as well. For you. For us as well, so we can learn something.
Yeah,
new
also
about it.
because a lot of our beliefs and perspectives are based in Islam.
Yes.
And just to give everybody a deeper insight as to where that comes from, this will obviously help with that as well.
And so you can also then remove your westernized version of understanding of Islam. We're not all terrorists. Like, that's something people
True.
DM me still. People are still instantly hitting me up on DM. Oh, I see you a terrorist now. I'm like...
Just decided, terrorism is going to be my way of life.
Like people getting blocked at airports still because of this. Like, 9/11 happened way before.
Sure.
It's since then that there was Islamophobia, actually. And so this season, we're trying to break the stereotypes around Islam. And so with that, we're going to introduce our first guest. How does it... I can't say your intro, so we'll give it over to you. You can do your intro now. How do you start your videos all the time? You know what it
Okay,
is.
this is unexpected. I thought I was going to come on here and be like, my name is...
Everyone knows you because you're also on social media, so I mean, here we are.
the intro going like, what it is. Igshaan Samsodien.
What it is, folk, I'm here.
I'm here. Igshaan Samsodien.
We're out here, man.
Yeah, out here, boy. Nah, I mean. Yeah, we here. Igshaan Samsodien. Shukran for coming out. We appreciate you coming. This is the first episode of the season. So obviously Igshaan is here today to speak about Sharia compliance in regards to finances, amongst other things, of course. So yeah, before we ask you any questions, tell us about your journey. where you went to school and
Who are you and what do you do?
yeah,
Basically.
actually interview. Write your CV, give your CV.
Yeah. Before coming on the podcast, I was talking to Mara. I was like, I never actually spoke about myself or told my own story. She's like, yeah, what you do? She's like, yeah, that's to you. I talk to you.
You being my audience is very different too.
Yeah, no, I
Actually,
get that.
spoke in public about it. People usually just see me for what I'm presenting on TikTok or social
Yes.
media. So, the journey on my side, to me, it seems long, but if you look back, it's like time just flew by. So I grew up, I was born in Cape Town, what they used to call back in the day, Gatesville Medical Center, which is now Melomed. So I was born there.
Clinic.
I'm still here, no?
It's still called that on Google Maps, yeah?
Gypsy.
Yes, bro. You can type in the Gatesville Medical Center, it will still take you to Millennium Gatesville.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was born there, 93, and I never stayed in Cape Town. We moved to Paul, and then I grew up there until I was about 7.
Okay.
And then, they gave us the story about why we moving, must be closer to family, etc. But there were some other reasons that my parents had.
Adults.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted to tell him because you won't understand at that time. But it was, I think it was job related. So we moved from there, and I was going to primary school there at Al Azhar, primary in Paul.
Okay.
And then from there, moved to Cape Town, went to Al Azhar again primary. This was when it was still in Lotus River. And when we moved, there was a bit of a financial difficulty. So that's important to this story because it's crazy how I ended up where I am now.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a financial difficulty from the parents' side. But you as a child, you don't know what's happening. You kind of just living.
You just go through the
You
motions,
just-
basically.
You just, you can't get this, you can't get that. It seems like it's a no to everything.
Yeah.
And you kind of just, you live with it. Was at Al Azhar primary from grade 3 to 5. And then that's when it became real. It's like, okay, you can't go there anymore because can't pay the fees there, so you have to go to public school. So I went to Welcome Primary. So at the time, grade 3, living in Primrose Park.
Yeah.
There's some hectic stuff happened because it was like sort of on the border of Manenberg. They walking, buying bread in the road, coming home with a gangster running past you with a gun, pulling a gun out. They were it was just a gang war now. They're running around.
Wait, when was this? Sorry, I have to break your
I was
word.
like 8 years old, 9 years old. In Manenberg.
I wasn't even born
Primrose
yet.
Park.
Yeah. No, because I know Primrose Park. I spent my what age? I was up until the age of like 4 or 5 years old. I lived in Primrose Park as well.
Okay.
My granny still lives in Primrose Park next to the mosque.
Yeah, I came there later on because like you said, you know.
Yeah, that's why I'm
33, I'm
asking because it's
31,
like,
so it's
wow, okay, small world.
It's probably the man
but
from
it was
the south
very-
that know each other.
Dude,
Us
the
from the
south is
north,
very small, my guy.
we just arrive.
The
we like
south is
spawn.
very small.
No, we NPCs there in the north.
Yeah, you spawning in the south now.
Yeah.
The north is spawning in the south, so here and there, it's popping
Yeah,
up.
babe, looks like we're moving, eh?
Okay, so you were there up until
That
what,
was just for a
9?
year. We
Okay.
lived there for a year, and then there was something happening with the landlord, so we had to move. But that was hectic. And we even had the army come in there once because we threw drugs over the wall.
Jeez.
It was crazy. We were on the corner where it's sort of then there's an open field to Turfel Road because the newcomers run away from there. So I think that's how that happened. Just sort of the getaway spot.
Yeah.
So that was a hectic 1 year, but I made good friends there, alhamdulillah. And then
Alhamdulillah.
went to Heideveld, and that's where I grew up from there. From I think 9 up to 19.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was still attending when I went to Heideveld from grade 5 to 7. I was at Welcome Primary, and then high school went back to Al Azhar. So when I went to Al
Okay.
Azhar back, this was in Athlone.
Yeah,
So they moved from Lotus. They split the high school.
Yes,
so
yes.
They moved it to Athlone. Sort of this, you can't drive past the school. You drive. It's in that one road. The train line is right next to you. When you drive, then you drive into the school.
Yes.
You can't drive past. I can't remember. It was a Christian school before that. I can't remember
Is
the
it?
name of it. Yeah.
Probably saying something.
Yeah, but it
Saint,
was
yeah.
Saying something is just, man.
That's how it is, yeah. It's always saying
It's
something.
always Saint Peter or Saint John's or Saint Luke's or Saint Matthew's, something like
I
that.
really can't remember. It was on the gate. The name of the school was previously. Yeah. But it was lekker there. I was an
Was
athlete.
the
I was a athletics guy. Took part in athletics there. And that's where I found I could had a good arm for throwing javelins. I was into that.
Oh, javelin also, yeah. Javelin was my thing.
Nobody knows this part of the story. But yeah, that was my thing. They called me the Spartan.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
lekker.
Mr. Ratus, if you watch this, they called me the Spartan.
What was your furthest distance you threw?
I over 40, and I was 16 years old.
Yeah, I hit the highest I hit was 70 at 15 also. I went to. Yeah, I was trying under 19 when I
Okay,
was
but you
15.
bigger than me. You can't
That's
see
the
it now.
thing, yeah, it's like...
I was the stick.
It's a technique.
There was a javelin throwing a javelin.
Yeah, basically.
You know what? Now, Marv, this is now a side
Yeah.
mission.
Side mission.
I remember there was a certain method that I wanted to learn when I was watching the Olympics. You know when they throw the stick and then it wobbles like that?
That's power.
That's power. But like the people I was training with, they would just throw and the stick would go there and down. They would throw it at a higher angle.
Yeah.
But there's a specific angle you throw it at and with the amount of power and how you flick your finger.
Yeah.
So how did you hold it? Did you hold it like this or like
I hold
that?
it like that.
So I threw like this. I first threw it like this. And then I threw like this.
I tried that one, but it wasn't. I don't know. I couldn't get it right. But this finger was very strong,
Yes.
so I used to flick with that to get it
Yeah.
that 45-degree
Yes,
angle
the
perfect.
perfect.
And then you see how it shakes.
That shakes for the best, yeah. So when I was trying like this, I couldn't get it. But then I learned like that. And then I discovered I could get like an extra 10 meters because of the amount of power. So maybe it was my middle finger was stronger. But that shake, you knew when you were competing, if someone threw before you, so then shake, you knew, nah, that's bra. It's
And the
hard.
weight? What is the weight of the...
I was throwing under 19, so I think it was 900 grams. Just under a kilo.
And you threw 70 with that?
Yes. I threw it
Sure,
almost
bruh.
onto the sprinting track from the other side.
Yeah, you must have been
Yeah.
a strong lighty that time.
Yeah, nah.
I
But
was
Bina
stick.
was je steek, but my arms. Oh. But yeah, nah, I was banned from athletics in grade 11 because I was rude to my principal, so my school lost.
Wow.
One of the best. But I mean, it's fine. If things turned out different, I would have probably been doing that professionally. But javelin, it's a very interesting sport. It's fun. It's also like kind of primal, you know.
Yeah.
The Spartan's a very interesting nickname. I was just
It's-
called Bigs.
Big man.
Well, called Bigs there.
Bigs, come throw the thing.
Yeah. And because I was so big, by default I was doing discus and shot put also.
And
I was
shot
doing just
put, yeah.
discus as well, yeah. I don't know, I went away from track because, I don't know, there's always some cheating happening, and then I was like, nah, I don't listen. I want something that's more definite. You can measure how far I threw. But you don't have to argue about who came first.
I
Like
get
in
what
a
you're
race,
saying,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
I also didn't see the purpose in like nobody's chasing me. Why must I run? Like, there's no dogs. Just like why must I run? You go run.
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. Because running was never something I was good at. Like, I would only run for like 50 meters and then I'd be cuss.
Oh, that's funny.
Still.
I hated running, and then later on, this is now jumping a little bit, but later on I started doing boxing, and then I started enjoying running.
Yeah, but there's a purpose behind it also. It's to get that fitness and all of that, that stamina.
If
in
I
and
ever, if there's a
endurance.
strategy behind it, that's how my brain works. If there's a strategy behind it, there's a purpose behind it, and I can put my full effort
Yeah.
behind it as well. Then I enjoy it more.
Okay.
But where did I end off now?
School, the javelin, sports.
Yeah,
and so
that was high school.
Mm.
And here, this part of my life, I have this no Islamic finance, nothing. I was studying accounting. I'm like, because when I grew up, when we were living in Eideveld, while I was in high school, there was a whole financial difficulty going on, and my dad was trying different things to make ends meet.
Yeah.
So this is also where I think I get some of my resilience in my mind, and I can attribute it to my parents. I haven't actually told them this, so when they watch the video, they'll see it.
Hey.
You did something right,
Shukran,
mommy,
mommy,
dad.
daddy.
Ah, there we go.
You know?
There's the one, yeah. There's the one.
So, it was welding. It
Okay.
did, this is not just to the best of my memory, we did welding. We made like the burglar bars that you get in the house and so on.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
can also do that. So I learned welding through that,
Lekker.
working with the tools. I was the boy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I used to
go
go
fetch this
to
cookie.
keep it
Yeah.
while he's drilling the holes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Fetch the tools, pack up, clean up and so on.
Give me a 13 socket there. Boy, 13 socket. That's one, daddy. Read 13. Okay, I see that. Oh. Yeah, nah.
It became such a relationship that I would be asked for everything. Where's this? Where's that? Because I put it on a specific place.
Yes.
Every time, same place. Then you must sweep up and that's metal.
That's the shavings.
the
metal
shavings,
yeah.
and it's sometimes go in your fingers.
Yeah, no?
So you learn, and then it went from welding to my mommy making samosas and pies and stuff like that. My daddy was in the printing business, but then back in that time, I think it was 2007, 2008, they were retrenching, and if you were last in, you were first out.
Okay.
So that was the buzz happening that time. So growing up in that, you're seeing what your parents is doing to make ends meet, and you grow up, you don't see it at first, and then later on you're like, okay, but we can't afford this. Like the children are having Heelys and they're wearing Billabong and Quicksilver, and you're like,
Billabong.
and you're like, yo, I can't have that. Why not?
And scooters, no?
Yeah.
Please.
And then you start realizing, okay, this is why. And then my mommy grew up with her daddy, where he took my grandfather took my mommy. She always tells the story how he took her through the budget, man. So I think they started to explain to us. They opened up a little about that, and then you, as a child, you start to understand. You're like, okay, we must be a bit easy with the parents. You know, it's not like they don't want to give you. It's because this
You
is the
just can't right now.
circumstance. And the biggest business lesson was when they started the fudge business.
Okay.
For me, but before that, there was this trolley my dad made. Like you know, when you go to the hospital, then the guys come past on the food trolley.
Oh, yes.
So they made that also. So it's like,
Okay.
okay, my mom's making samosas and pies. They might as well do this thing. And then I did it at Greenpoint Clinic for a time.
Okay.
So I was a patient there also because I have asthma.
Okay.
I had the whole works: asthma, sinus, hay fever, all that. So I was a baby from that used to frequent Red Cross Hospital.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Greenpoint.
So your respiratory problems is rife,
It's still
eh?
there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Season
But-
change must be fun, eh?
Sure, bruh. My nose is blocked now. You can't hear it now. But, you know, you take this nasal spray with that steroids in it, and then it works. So, alhamdulillah. we get by as we can.
You know. And we were just talking about it earlier, no?
Yeah,
With
no?
allergy.
Emo was funny. Yeah, nah, I get that. Apparently, it only gets worse with age also, so I'm not looking forward to getting older.
Yeah, look, the best thing that worked for me with the asthma was when, and I didn't realize it, but the guy, Sifu, we called him, he told me 3 months, I'm taking you off the asthma pump. I'm like, huh? I don't believe him, because I started training in 2013, and like, it's just gymming, but I didn't know what I was doing, if you're going with no personal training or anything. So from 2013 to 2017, I was kind of just wasting my time in the gym, but I was learning. You ask people, you make friends and so on. I still have those people that that I can talk to. But then I met him, and I went into this program, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna go here just to lose weight. And then when you go to his school, it's like you will turn into a fighter. Literally. That's his type of training.
I need to lose some weight here, yo.
Some.
Yeah, sir.
Some.
Yo,
I
some
know,
low
no.
blows
No,
here.
That's how it goes,
you know,
man.
that's the beauty of masculine friendship, man. You know?
Yeah.
Accountability. That's the thing. I know, like, I've lost a lot of weight now since, like, the first 2 seasons because I've been cycling, but, like, I haven't been in the gym or fighting since, like, 2016. Because I used to fight also. I picked up a lot of weight when I got married. You must know, when you get married, it's fine, you know.
Yeah, you just stop doing a lot of activity.
The
And also,
hunt is over. That's
and
the whole
also-
thing.
Yeah, and at the same time, COVID happened, man. I got married in the heart of COVID. So there was no open gyms. There was no outside.
Yeah.
So I was just at home, saw no TV with my wife. You know what I mean?
3
You know what I
children
mean?
later.
3 children later. Yeah, but still. Yeah. So I think that you must give me the best number. Boxing sounds interesting.
I went from using probably like 10 pumps a year to having 1, and the paper start fading off of the thing.
Wow.
It
Okay.
didn't take 3 months. It took me like 4 to 6 months to actually get off the asthma pump, but it worked because the intensity of the training was that.
That increase your lung capacity, so
Was
you
that
didn't sit with that.
hectic? Yeah, like there is nothing for your body to do except for your lungs to expand.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Anyway, before you go to a fight, so I also fight. Before you go into a fight, you must go for a test to make sure that you medically sound.
You still
Yes.
fight, like, do you still compete?
No.
But you did.
I
like,
did, yeah. I was doing not professional. I was doing amateurs.
But I mean, yeah.
We were gonna go pro, but it was also final year at university. You had to make a decision.
Yeah.
What's going to be
So-
your profession
That's jumping
going
ahead in
forward?
my
Yeah.
story.
No, I was
But
gonna say,
anyway.
like, because now we at
At high
university.
school.
So like we let's jump to university real quick because you said
Yeah.
you didn't Islamic finance wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah, because it was just accounting.
You did accounting. So my understanding is you did BCom general, right?
So I did so I did BCom General at UWC.
Oh, damn
And-
season.
But
Professional dance.
yes,
Yeah.
they should have a dance league at UWC.
I
Everyone
was-
that go to UWs play dance or pool.
yeah, I didn't know. I still today I don't know. I can't play drums, but I'll sit and play with you. You know, I'll just make sure that
'Cause you know
the numbers
numbers.
match.
I can count how many dots there are, so I
and
can match them.
pretend I can play.
Have you ever been scolded
Psych you
out
out.
by your uncle saying, "Nee, jy is nie reg nie." Like, my uncle used to tell me I'm not actually a colored because I can't play drums. He said, "Nee,
Yo.
jy's 'n wit kind." I'm like, it's like you just ask me, there's a one there. Okay, I have a one, but they're like, nah, you must count this and you must. I'm like,
So you can predict.
Yeah.
you sit and study all the chords or something.
Yeah, it's easy. It's
Also
just
didn't
maths.
get it,
It's
yeah.
quick maths.
I did maths lit, sorry.
Quick maths.
If there's
Yeah.
words, I'll survive. but
Drums is for
numbers-
the pure math.
You know?
I'm cultured,
There's
dude.
no words, just numbers there. Not even numbers, dots.
Need some trigonometry to figure out what's happening in the other brother's
Sin,
hand.
cos, tan, okay. Oh, that's the Cartesian plane there.
That's chord counting, my guy. That's
Yeah.
actually chord
Oh,
counting.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
my
why
first-
accounting?
So that goes back to when I was growing up. So when you get the classifieds, then you see how much a financial manager gets paid.
Mhm.
So I was like, I don't want to
Classifieds.
circle like my parents are circling now.
Mm.
And that's not speaking down about what happened with my parents. It's just like I wouldn't want to circle like this.
Mm.
So what kind of job can I do that's gonna earn me enough money? And I was like, I want to be a financial manager.
Mm.
They're earning at that point in time they were earning like 700,000 a year. And that time it was
that's
like a lot,
crazy.
you know.
That's crazy.
I
That's
was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and so that's how I decided my subject in high school and what I'm gonna do in university.
Okay.
So I was set on that, and then I failed my first year at university, 2011.
Okay.
And then, but when I matriculated, it was always a choice between do I study Islamic studies or do I go study at university. And I couldn't make up my mind. I consulted my parents and they told me, look, you're going to have your life to study your dean. Just go finish the 4-year degree and then you go study dean after that. So I went and I failed because I didn't have purpose. At the end of the year, I discovered. During the year, you don't realize it. But at the
Yeah,
end,
you just go
fail,
through
I
the
was like,
motions to try
why
and get
did
to
I
the end of the
fail?
year.
Why this? And I was
Mm.
like, I made a mistake. I had to go and study Islamic studies first.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, go find who you
That makes
are,
sense.
why you want to do what you want to do, and then go do what you want to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I went to study Islamic studies with that mindset. So I went to IPSA, Islamic
Okay.
Peace College of South Africa.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes.
There was no degree at the time. There is a degree now. So anyone wants to go and study there, you'll get an actual Bachelor of Arts in Islamic studies, and they go all the way to masters now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you get,
Oh,
and
lekker.
it's in something that I'm also sort of kind of passionate about, which is Maqasid Sharia, which is the higher purposes of Sharia. So you're a Muslim, you know the Sharia, but why does the Sharia exist? That's what you're studying.
Mm. Mm.
What's the
Okay.
actual purposes behind it?
We've spoken about
Sure.
this on your live at one point, but
Yeah.
we'll touch on that later. So you felt like you had no purpose and you failed, so because you had to do Islamic studies
Yeah.
first.
So I went 4 years to IPSA,
Okay.
4 years there, and then I did. I went from 2012 until 2015,
Okay.
and in that time, made a best friend, and also got married. 2012 got married, end of the year. I was 19 years old at the time, and then that sort of gives you focus in your life, young. Because you don't have to worry about looking for another girlfriend or whatever, you know.
Mm.
That's not a
Mm.
thing.
That's where I agree with you. Yeah.
You know,
actually.
so you got your
Yeah.
security there, and it's how do you say, peace of mind.
Yeah.
It gives you that you don't have to focus on that part of your life. It's
Mm.
sorted.
Yes.
That's
Just
a very
now.
nice way of putting it, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually the perfect way of putting it.
That's the best
to be
way of
honest
putting
with
it,
you.
actually. We've spoken about this before, no?
We've spoken about
Yeah.
marriage,
Because
basically.
people
and the
always
understanding of it.
they look at me funny because I got married at 20.
Yeah.
Like I got married at 20. I've got 3 kids at 24, and it's like, where are you? 20s is the best time of your life, and I'm just like,
But people talk about it like you're missing out, man.
Mm.
Yeah, but I could have been with another 10 females and experienced all of them, the difference, and it's like lekker. So that's the male predisposition
yes,
that Allah created us that way. That
Mm.
we want to, we love women. That's our
Mm.
weakness,
Mm.
and
The
not
nafs.
and the woman isn't the problem. The woman is not a problem.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
how Allah created us. This is just who we are.
That's what you
And
need
if you
to
discover
control.
that about yourself and you
Mm.
you learn it, and then you just fix that part. But for me, getting
getting
married,
married, yeah.
it's done.
Mm.
And also, in the same time that you were, I talked to my wife about this. I said, how do people go through 20 people? It's like you must restart every time a new thing
No,
to
no.
get to where I am today with you 12 years later. I'm like, no, it's
12 years.
12
Yeah.
years. Yo, Allahumma
alhamdulillah.
barik.
Oh,
12 years, bro.
In today's time, it's like it's a proper milestone.
it is no 100%. 100%.
No, of
It's
course.
a
Not to think that
milestone.
I'm better than anyone else, but given the current situation of the
Society.
youth,
yeah.
it's what the societal norms, alhamdulillah, was not a statistic.
Yeah, exactly
Yo.
that.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly that.
That was something that I told my parents when I was 16. I said, I will not become a statistic. I will not be the guy that, and I'm not, don't get upset whoever you are listening to this. I'm not going to be the guy that's 35 and then getting married. Nah, when I'm 35, I want my kids to be grown up and I want to meet my grandchildren maybe, you know, or start meeting them by 45. I don't want to be an old grandpa. I don't want to die before my kids have kids. You know what I mean? And then I was like, so the only way to do this is to do what my parents did. My parents also got married at 20. You know, different time, yes. But I was like, that's the whole thing. So I had to beat the Gen Z stereotype, man. That Gen Z men are los. You know what I mean? That's what they
the terminology.
and
they
it's
use.
like it's tricky because you're now in a world where all your friends that's your age is going out on weekends. You know, they're going to Long Street or this one have the latest phone, that one. But yeah, you like, yo, I must buy this premium cane nappies and that man and this. And it's like tricky because you're like, yo, I could have had that life, and you must realize now, but you chose this life, bro.
Yeah.
And then you like, then you can see, like, I have conversations with some of my other friends, and they talk to me, and it's like, yo, you sound so empty, man, bro. At least I have a family. Like, yeah, maybe my money's not liquor, I'm not going out every weekend, but here's my party at home.
Yeah.
My 3 light is at home, and my wife, like, that's my party. So
That's fulfilling, man. Like you won't
Yeah.
understand it until
until
you
you
have
do
it.
it. Yes, 100%.
Everybody looks from the outside at what you're going through, some difficulty in your family, and then they're like, I don't smoke that. I
Did
wanna
you see
have
the
fun."
price of nappies?
Yeah.
I'm just like someone asked me the other day,
Yeah.
so you buy nappies 3 times? So I said, yes, I buy 3 different sizes nappies now. They're like, but your nappies is in 300. And I'm like, and? They're like, but don't you have any fun? Yes. What do you do? I stay at home with my family, or we go out to have ice cream or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's your version of fun is financial. Mine isn't financial. Mine's emotional. Like, I have a family now. And the amount of inspiration that gives you to want to continue with life is much better and better
I
than getting money.
believe-
That's me.
I believe that, and this is looking at how Allah created us. For what? It's to build the ummah,
Yeah, exactly.
to procreate, to push the human race forward, you know, and the only way you do that is by making more children.
Making more
But
of them.
within that, there is this peace of mind that you get because you're building a unit, is stability.
Yes.
With no marriage or anything. This is not the same for everybody because you get singles where Allah's put it out that they never get married. Those are those special circumstances or the rare circumstances. In general, people usually get married.
Yeah.
Yes.
People usually have children. People usually work for their families. People usually work to see their families progress.
Yeah.
You know, it's the rare circumstances, and it's usually those people in the rare circumstances that come out of the woodworks and wanna attack you for what you're saying. But the thing is, I'm talking in general. I'm not
Yeah.
talking to you.
I've
If the
Generally
shoe
speaking,
fits,
this is
then,
the
then
case.
wear it. Yeah.
We've said that multiple times. I mean, this is the opinion, you know. And we have a disclaimer as well. There are people that, and also what I've noticed, and this is now I'm not attacking non-Muslims. Don't get me wrong. Let me say it like this: it's always the non-Muslims, no, a group of them that judge certain things about religion without knowing the reasoning behind it. It's the ignorance, man. And so that's why with this season we intended to kind of bridge that ignorance and say, look, this is why we do things the way we do. And it's always they use exceptions, man. They will always use exceptions. Like, oh yes, but you know, for example, they always say Muslim people always have the best cause. They're over money. That's not actually the case. You know what I mean? Is some of them they prefer to have the latest BM, but some of us don't.
But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being rich? What's wrong with being wealthy and having the best stuff?
Exactly.
that.
That's how we look at it, right?
Yeah.
But the outside looking in, the ignorance is like, because for me it's about risk, right? That's that person's risk. That's for them. I'm not supposed to have that. I
Yeah.
must have my own risk.
Because if you must look at it from a financial point, how do you give more charity?
To have more money.
Yes.
You need to have more to give
So
more.
like my teacher says, when you're working or you're looking to build a business, one of the core reasons for doing it must be to make money. but that mustn't be the sole purpose. But you must make money so you can do a lot of other things. It's a facilitator for bigger things.
Yeah.
So you must change your relationship with money. But in our community, sometimes it gets looked down upon that if you rich and you start jou for your wit, jou for your fancy, or if you know. But that's not the case. Like, and that's just because sometimes you struggling to get to that point. You couldn't find a way to make more money. So the next best thing I can do is to look down on the other one. You know, but the whole purpose of generating wealth is to also help humanity progress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do also believe that I think it's like from what you're speaking about, this perspective you're speaking about is very much like a colored perspective. Because
Coloured
that is a
culture.
colored culture
Yes,
thing
sir.
of where every person's trying to be better than the next person. So if that person has more, you're gonna say something about that person which is to make them not look as good because now they have more than you, type of thing, you know. And I think it is a colored culture type of thing,
Afrikarig.
you know, and where you're always trying to be better than the next person and so on. And so I think that's where that perception basically stems from.
You know, I get that. Because of the work, I mean, I was exposed to other cultures as well. And you get the same sentiment happening in amongst the other racial groups as well, but in their own way.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just exposed to our colored community more, and so we see it.
Because we're there.
But one of the beautiful things I've seen in with one of my clients is like, you know, my dad is this, and he bought me a house as a gift. I got married, and you know, the way he spoke to me was like he couldn't wait to help out his sister or his sibling, and it was so nice and refreshing to hear that they're building this ecosystem as a family where they are the one generation's helping the other one, who's helping the other one, and setting them up for success. Whereas with some of our people in our community, they're like, no, if I die, they must look after themselves. They must take away for themselves. You know, it's like nah, man.
That's a problem.
If you can help set up your child and get to, like, you give them a house, go live, go build something. I've set you up now. It's for you to make it work.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even
There's
after you
something
give
to
them a
start
house,
from.
it doesn't mean they're going to be successful.
There has to be some sort of foundation. You know, I love my dad a lot, and I always say this to my mommy also. My dad never gave me money or a house, but he gave me wisdom. That's what I love the most about my dad. So I wouldn't change it.
Mashallah.
I wouldn't change it. Like, I love my dad because he taught me things about life. But then I said to my wife, now what I want to teach my children and my son is that, listen, here's the wisdom, but also here's a property, right? Because we grew up also without having a place to stay until my parents were. I mean, I was 15 when my parents bought their first house. They're still paying that house off, and they're almost 60. Whereas, like, now I'm like, with my children, I want them to have a home. They must grow up in the same house. Do you know what I mean? And like, okay, cool, that's your house, that's yours. You can sell it, you can whatever with it, that's fine. But at least there's a launch pad. Because I believe that every generation after you has to be set up better than you. Like, my parents always tell me, you have to be better than us.
Yeah.
You have to. You don't have a choice. Even if we weren't the best, you have to be better. Your child must be better than you. And the following, and that's just how it's supposed to be. But like, how do we aid that? So now we can kind of segue into how you got into Islamic finance and what you do now. And I have a few questions that people sent to me before that I've spoken to about. Yeah. No, it's written down here. But let's first start with like, what is it you exactly do? Like, do you just do wills? Do you do like financial planning? What type of work is it that you're in, and what type of dynamic does it bring to the people you deal with? So if someone books a consult with you, what could they look into getting from you?
Yeah. Look, firstly, before I even get to the questions, also I have to say this because it's an important note before I say anything. I am not a Sharia scholar.
Okay.
I'm a student of Sharia. I studied 4 years, and 4 years is minimal. If you like look at becoming like an alim or something, you know. So I'm not a Sharia scholar. I'm a practitioner.
Okay.
Very important to note.
Big disclaimer there, no?
Yeah. So I have a lot of knowledge in terms of my space, but there are certain things where I wouldn't be able to give an answer because it's a fiqh issue.
Okay.
So fiqh is a part of the Sharia as well, but it's where fiqh is where the difference of opinions come in. If you're looking at Quran, Sunnah, that is more clearly set out. But when you, like, for example, How do Hanafis make salah? How do Shafis make salah? That's fiqh issues, you know. So now you come in the masjid and you see someone making salah with his arms down. Like that doesn't invalidate his salah. That's just the method of how he was, how he grew up and how he was taught.
For the non-Muslims, what is fiqh?
Islamic jurisprudence. So it's looking at the Quran and Sunnah and drawing from the principles to and even speak under correction. It's drawing from the principles to come up with the answers for the things that we're going through today.
Okay.
So like fiqhul ibadat, how do you worship Allah? How do you make salah? How do you fast?
Yes.
So it's drawing from the evidence of the Quran and the Sunnah and coming up with rulings for that. So Imam Shafi did it. And Imam Shafi is one of the big scholars.
Yes.
That's a whole story on its own. So
we
don't go into that now.
Okay, so now we continue what you were saying.
Yeah, so coming out of, also just to clarify, so I did 4 years in Islamic studies and I did BCom finance. So this is how I got into finance. One of the sheikhs asked me, how are you going to contribute to Islam? Still, I didn't know. This was at university and I was like, okay. And then after university finished 2019,
yes,
this is to come to the question you're asking, what do I actually do? I didn't plan to go into Islamic finance. It's as if Allah placed me here.
Okay.
Literally, because I come out of 2019, can't find work. Because the next year is what? 2020, COVID.
That's where COVID is in the beginning of 2020.
Everybody's like without work, and they instead of hiring, they're retrenching people.
Yes.
They're getting rid of people. So how am I going to get a job? Eventually, I put on my on LinkedIn, I put on PNet, I put on Careers24. I said I'm a Muslim. And this is what I do, this is my purpose, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm thinking, what can I put on here to get people to be interested?
Yeah, it was fishing now, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're casting your bait. See what it is.
It's interesting. I'm going to talk about that. I call myself a fisherman.
Yes.
And it changed now. I'm a farmer.
Oh, nice.
Which is a little bit deeper than a fisherman, I think.
No. Yeah.
So, a year and a few months passes. In April of 2021, I get a call from a company called Tazkia or Capital Legacy. The lady calls, she says they're looking for a Muslim. Like this, think about this, they're looking for a Muslim. What job? If I think back, I'm like, that's crazy.
We're just looking for a Muslim. Any
We're
Muslim,
looking
just
for
give
a
us
Muslim for this position. And I put on my profile, I'm Muslim. And opened up like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then when I look back and I was like, how mad is that, man? Like they were
like
as a job, the thing that they're looking for. Usually they look for your experience. You did X, Y, and Z. They first thing they mention to be a Muslim.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm like, okay,
actually.
that's interesting. I'm open to it. I go to the interview. They're doing walls and estates. So that's where my career started.
Okay.
This was in 2021 in June. And I have to say shukran also to a colleague of mine when I was working there, Mustafa.
Shout out
Mustafa Ali. Yeah, he's the one who spoke to the sales manager at the time who interviewed me and said, no, take him because he has knowledge. I didn't know that was happening in the background because I studied Islamic studies and, you know.
Yeah.
So, got into that and that's where I was exposed to estate planning. So, estate planning is what do I do when I pass away or after I pass away? How do we plan for that stage? And that's like a massive gap in our community across the board, not just Muslims, it's everyone, the entire South Africa.
Nobody plans for their death, basically.
Yeah, they plan for everything else, investments, buying houses, buying cars. Everybody's in the life of accumulation, but nobody sets out what's going to happen after I pass away, so my family can continue living in what I've accumulated and they can set up in such a way that they can accumulate their own wealth as well. You know, so but that starts from somewhere, man.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to that, and I've sat in people's houses where it's just a bed, nothing else. It is like we don't know how blessed we are with what we have.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know how much barakah Allah put in your life for what you actually have. And then I've sat in people's houses where it's like crazy wealth, like out of this world. You can't even imagine it until you sit there and you're like, yo. This is what's possible. If Allah can give it to this person, He can give it to me, and there's so many other people that can also get this.
Yes.
But it's not something you must chase, man. The wealth mustn't be in your heart. It must be just in the hand.
True.
So you can use it. So I'm working there I worked there from 2021 up until this year. I ended March.
Okay.
So I was there almost 3 years, yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
So 2 years and 10 months I was at Tazkia. So I was just doing that. And there it was hectic. I was seeing like 4 or 5 people a day, every day.
Oh, wow.
5 days, sometimes 6 days
Jeez.
a week. But it was such a humbling experience as well to see the work was hectic because it drains you. You're driving around all day. You like every hour and a half, you must be by the next client.
Yeah. So aside from clients, also there's also the admin part of it as well. I
after-
So
suppose.
when you
Yeah.
come home, you're sitting at night and you're like, you must hand in application forms.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, the people at work is waiting for you at the day, especially when it's month in. Yo, it's crazy. And then
The
the
hound
system's
dogs
still
come
not working properly. But I must say,
Glitches in the matrix. You
the one lady there, her name is Carmen. She works at She is like that, bro. Always on the ball. So like people like her and the other team members, the other what do they call assistant consultants, they are tops. It's because of people like them that makes the whole system work.
Yeah.
But then they on board, but then the system itself crashes.
Yeah.
'Cause it's so
And
much
everybody
things
was like,
happen.
okay, technology is fantastic until it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
That's the whole thing. Yeah? That's the whole thing. Okay, so now
So I was
you
there.
moved from there. What
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
after that?
So while I was there, this is important note. It gets to where I am now today. It's
Okay.
a personal mission of mine in Islamic finance. It became a personal mission. So I was there at Tazkia. I told my sales manager, look, I don't feel comfortable doing the conventional product. Conventional meaning it's not a Sharia compliant product.
Yeah.
So it's the what we would term in South Africa the normal insurance product. So it was wills, and then there was an insurance product attached to that to cover the cost of winding up your estate. So instead of your family having to take the money out of their pockets, they can use that policy to do it.
Okay.
But I earn from that, man. So I didn't want to sell a policy that in and of itself was like selling wine. You see, or selling pork. As a Muslim, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You shouldn't be making
Exactly.
money off that.
And
yeah,
this, while I'm
basically.
saying this, a disclaimer also, I know there's a lot of Muslims in this situation.
Mm.
So when you're listening to me,
Don't get
it's
upset.
not a jajaracha thing. It's a personal choice I
Yeah.
made,
Yeah.
and we are sort of in that phase where it's changing, and there's more progress happening in Islamic finance, and there's gonna be opportunities where you can start to take a step into the Sharia space.
Yes.
But you don't just jump out of your because you hear now Igshaan is saying, hey, but that's haram to do. No, you must secure yourself first financially. You are where you are. Allah has tested everybody, and everybody got their stuff going on in their lives.
Yeah.
But you mustn't go put yourself in a financial difficulty just because you hear me saying now,
Yeah.
I can't be selling those products.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to make the shift. And so I spoke to my sales manager. I said, look, I only want to focus on Tazkia because it's Sharia compliant stuff. And this is where I'm like very passionate. So that they said, yes, okay, it's fine. And I started running only with that. Even though I was having less sales. Less sales. People's making like 60 to 100 sales a month.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like 35, 40, you know.
Mm.
So it was, but that was the risk I decided to take for my peace of mind and for the pleasure of Allah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So while I was there, I did a course on Islamic finance also. Not through the company, with a very good friend of mine who's also CEO of the company I'm working for now. Muhammad Vadi. I'm name dropping here because it's appreciation for them, you know.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So
Shout out.
he included me in a course that is done through the IOFI. IOFI is the accounting and auditing organization for Islamic finance institutions. They write the principles
Okay.
for which Islamic finance products are built upon. It has to
Wow.
meet these standards. These standards come out of mu'amalat. Mu'amalat is Islamic business transactions. And
Okay.
mu'amalat
Oh, wow.
is a big section of the Sharia.
Yes.
So I'm saying that because so people listening can understand this is not Mickey Mouse stuff. It's not like they just came up with stuff to make it
It's
Sharia.
based,
It's,
yeah.
it's rooted.
It's not
That's rooted in,
Bida.
yes.
Yeah,
No,
the
no.
principles are rooted within the Sharia itself, and it comes out of a book called Kitabul Buyu', which is the book of sale, which is part of Mu'amalat, which they then draw the principles from in their OFI standards.
Okay.
So they use this as a framework for
Fire
governance.
episode.
You know,
Okay.
It's a fire episode. Like, you so getting fire, man. Anyway, Maaf, continue.
yeah. So they use those principles for governance and to see like a for people to see, okay, or not for the people, I'm talking about the scholars to check, is this product actually Sharia compliant? Does it meet all these standards?
Does it meet the standards that's set out based on this criteria that's pulled from those books, from the book
Almost
basis?
like
Standards,
fiqh,
yeah.
the
Yes.
Islamic fiqh. Like, you
So
know,
to say, yeah.
It's like an FSCA,
Yeah,
yeah,
Financial
exactly.
Services Conduct Authority. They write the rules
Yes.
for how your financial planning must be done.
yeah.
you know, when
Same
RCS for you, they're like, RCS is a licensed FSP under 15666.
Yeah.
Exactly that, yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
people we're talking about, yeah.
So-
And that's where I met this man. Dr. Ziad Muhammad. And this is where I realized what the highest purpose a Muslim can have is this one thing. And it is 2 words in Arabic. Rida Allah. Rida, which is pleasure, Allah. Pleasure of Allah.
Pleasure
There
of
is
Allah.
no other way to enter Jannah except Rida Allah.
No.
If Allah is happy with you and satisfied with you, you guarantee Jannah.
Guaranteed.
Whatever you're doing. Just because I'm in Islamic finance doesn't mean I have an easy way to, or through my work, I can attain Allah's pleasure. What we're doing here now,
Yes.
this is work. It's not an easy thing to have a podcast. It takes a lot of work and background work from that behind the scenes stuff.
You saw.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. So
So like the video, man. Subscribe to the
yeah,
channel,
like
man.
the video, subscribe,
You know,
share it with your friends and
yeah.
family.
Yo,
Yeah,
especially
learn
now.
something. Learn
Yeah.
something.
Yo.
Basically.
Yes, yes, I'm learning so much here. I'm
My
very
guy,
happy. You know,
honestly.
It's beautiful.
You know
Okay.
when you share this stuff now, just for the audience. I don't know if you got a nickname for your audience. Mine is the beneficiaries.
That's interesting.
Because my podcast was called Benefit Continuum.
Okay.
So they're
Okay.
they're the beneficiaries of the knowledge we give.
And then they must
Yeah.
trust you.
we must sit with that. That's a good idea.
It's a
Actually.
quiet thing, man.
That's
It's
a
like-
quiet. That's
like a-
smart.
You build a
Man's
community.
dropping wisdom here. Woo woo. I like that. Okay, yeah, I must write that down. We just called him the mean. So
For you folks at home.
for the people at home, you know, the people that's listening or watching, you know.
The opinionators.
Oh,
You
some-
know?
oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we will see. Maybe we'll
That's
trademark that.
sidebar.
Yeah. Side mission.
That's a side quest. Yeah, we
Okay.
need to
Actually
feel
lost my thought
finish
now.
that.
What I wanted to say for the audience. What
The
do we
pleasure of Allah. And
Yes.
before that, you were speaking about doctor something.
Dr. Ziad Muhammad.
Yes.
You took a course through the person that's the head of the company working.
Yeah. So I'll just continue from there. If the thought comes back, I'll speak about
For
it.
you. Okay.
But yeah, that's where I discovered this higher purpose, and since then that has become my thing. Like whatever I'm doing, I must ask myself the question: if what I'm doing is gonna earn Allah's pleasure, I can continue. If I know intrinsically it doesn't, within myself, that's what I mean by intrinsically. Within myself, if I know this thing it's not kosher, I'd rather leave it. So this is what I've done in what I'm busy doing. So it's a very good yardstick to give yourself, to ask yourself before every action you're gonna do, is this gonna earn Allah's pleasure? So if you live your life like that, everything you're gonna do, you're gonna start to win off of it. Whatever vices you have. Some people, there's pornography. Some people, I'm not picking on you guys. Some
Yeah.
people,
Go
it's
there.
cigarettes.
Go there.
Some people, it's
Inches.
Go there. Yeah. No, I
everybody.
get what
Some
you're
people,
saying, yeah.
some Muslims are drinking alcohol. Some people, everybody has a vice.
There's vices.
Some people
Yeah,
are
for sure.
violent with their families.
Mm.
You know, they're abusive or they narcissistic or whatever. If you just ask Allah or ask yourself, is
Self.
Allah going to be happy with this thing that I'm doing? If not, then I need to stop. I need to find a way to stop also, because we're weak also. We're weak to our nafs, our lower base desires. So how do we get over that? You ask this question every day. You must become obsessed about it. And I'm someone like that. I become obsessed about it.
Yeah.
About
Based
stuff
on what
like
you've
that.
said so far, it's like, yeah, you are obsessive.
Yeah.
But once you latch onto something like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know what it's gonna. I want to see how far I can take it. And
It's a
since
really
then, I've been
interesting
running on
background.
that. So from that, the mission has changed. So while I was at Tazkia, I started working and I started seeing, okay, these are the things that the community is lacking. These are the things that we need. What else can I do? And in my consultations, people started asking me about investments. They started asking me about properties and cars and all. And I was like, these are all gaps that people have. How can I assist them? So the only way for me to get into a position where I could assist them was to become a financial advisor.
Okay.
And was this year when I stepped out of Tazkia to become a financial advisor. And I'm saying that for clarity also is because I am super appreciative for the people I met at Tazkia. And I met the muftis there on the Sharia board. The people I worked with, they weren't Muslim. It wasn't a Muslim-owned company, but because of them, the experience there everybody's helpful, man. Everybody wants to see you succeed because your success is their success.
Yes.
You know? So, and whatever problems you have, and sometimes you have client complaints, there's people have your back, maybe. Like that's proper. When you hear of toxic
Work
environments, that's not what my experience
Yeah.
was there. So that
Alhamdulillah,
I was
be
very
happy about that.
Alhamdulillah for that.
You know?
Be very happy
So
about
I never
that.
left because I didn't like what I was doing. I enjoyed what I was doing, and so I had to leave because I needed to grow what I could offer the community. And some people got upset because I'm talking about some of the clients. They weren't too happy because I couldn't service them with the other stuff. So short term, like car insurance, home insurance, business insurance. So there's all the stuff beyond the walls, and then there's investments, retirement, annuities, and all these things can be done in a Sharia compliant way. And when I start talking to people, like I'm sitting in front of you now, and we start having a consultation, then you see like, yo, I didn't know all the stuff is available to me. Oh, I didn't know I can do it like this. But I already fell into this thing. How do I get out of it? It's like when I was at Tazki, I couldn't assist them with it. I always had to refer. I was like, nah, man, I must.
Because you have to stick within your framework of what you're supposed to be doing, and you can't be venturing out. Even though you have the knowledge, maybe, and you know what you can do.
You genuinely want to help the person.
Yeah.
You know, like there's little red line that you can't cross.
So the problem was I could refer them, but even currently there isn't a workforce of Sharia or Islamic financial planners. There isn't. So I'm one of the first people, and that's not a bragging point. That's a sad point. I can't be the only. We need more to come in.
Recruitment.
You know, and alhamdulillah, I'm in a position where I can recruit now because the CEO of the company I'm working for, he gave me this opportunity to build a team. So building a team means they must come on, even if they have their own book of clients already, but they feel like, no, I'm a bit sick of working, or I'm tired of working in this with the riba industry and whatever. I want to make a change. I want to start having impact in the community from an Islamic finance point. And like those kind of people I'm looking for to get on my team, because then you're already open-minded. I don't have to convince you of why Islamic finance is the way.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, this will see this.
I mean, this is a point of inspiration at the moment, my guy. Honestly, because it's like I know for a fact there is a major gap. Like we were just speaking about it earlier, like nowhere in the schooling system or anything like that is anything related to finance specifically, like, you know, your day-to-day finances. It's not taught. Those things aren't taught. So you don't know how to manage money once you've grown up living on your own. You didn't learn how to manage your money at all. Right? Because those things don't get taught at the fundamental level when you're growing up. So you just go into life, now you start working, and then all these things start hitting you. Oh, I must pay this, I must do this, I must do that. And then it's like, oh no.
To have a good credit score, I must do this, to buy that, to that, get that.
Exactly that.
You don't realize, and then you get to a point where you're now trapped, man.
Yeah.
And so now, say for example, now you're trapped in a riba situation. For those who don't know what riba is, it's interest for the most part. Debt interest, right? So that loan you take, the bank Haraam. Not attacking you.
But
just like,
that's the way of the world.
Haraam Police, don't come in our comments here and attack any of us.
Ooh, I wanted to touch on that.
we will talk about the Haraam Police because, you know what, firstly, for the ones that are new here, these tattoos are from before I was a Muslim. That's always the first attacking point with me, right? It's that. So it was before. And then also, my other content, I swear, I'm not perfect. And then also on this episode, there must have been something that the Haraam Police will attack, and that's something like I see it everywhere on Twitter. Like, I go on Twitter, all this content creators, there's always Haraam Police everywhere.
And the funny thing is, or finish your point.
Like long story short, it's just like Haraam Police. We all have a Haraam Police story, man.
Yeah.
I remember one night I was in one of your lives, and there was a Haraam Police there. In that
officer.
Officer, agent. But now my whole thing was, and like I said to him, I'll never forget that night because we were on that live till almost 2 o'clock that morning. My wife scolded me out about that. But I said to that guy in the comments, I was saying things not out of ignorance, based on what I knew, and you obviously explained, okay, this is what you're talking about. This guy was very like, no, you're wrong, and this is what it says. And I'm like, okay, now show your face, come in the box then. Because I'm not scared to speak about things. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it.
Yeah.
And so it's always people, the Haraam Police always hide behind user 145628879s. They never come out boldly. So I'm like, if you have something to discredit or you want to say something that you think is right, then share it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be scared. Because at the same time, you're speaking from a place where you think I'm ignorant or we ignorant, and we need to understand because maybe we get along pretty well. Maybe there's just a miss of communication. Haraam Police isn't always bad. They're sometimes just also ignorant. Just like sometimes they don't know how to educate. I know people that have so much knowledge. No? Some of them claim to be scholars. Some of them, they said, like you, they're students. But the way that they communicate their message to some Muslim for 6 years. I'm only 6 years old. You know, I'm like, you must talk to me like I'm a 6-year-old. You know, but like, now you're telling me about, yeah, this is wrong and that is wrong and whatever. Like, I think that you need, the way you communicate is very important.